discuss the rest portion of the pharynx. That includes the blood supply and nerve supply of the pharynx and pharyngotympanic tube, also called as an auditory tube or Eustachian tube, that connect the nasopharynx and auditory and middle ear cavity. Now, first of all, the blood supply of the pharynx includes the arterial supply and venous drainage. Now, arterial supply that also supply the tonsil. You also already learned in the topic of the tonsil. These are the branches of external carotid artery. First branch, that is the ascending pharyngeal artery, then ascending palatine artery and tonsillar branches of the facial artery. Then branches of the maxillary artery are the greater palatine, pharyngeal and pterygoid branches of the maxillary artery. And last one is the branches of lingual artery, that is dorsal lingual branches. So that supply the pharyngeal wall. Now venous supply. Venous veins from the plexus which join with the pterygoid venous plexus that lies on the buccopharyngeal fascia on the middle constrictor muscle of pharynx. And finally this venous drainage drained into the internal jugular vein. So that is about the blood supply of the pharynx. Now nerve supply. It includes motor and sensory. Now motor nerve supply means all the pharyngeal muscles are supplied by cranial root of pharyngeal nerve via pharyngeal plexus, except stylopharyngeus muscle that is supplied by nerve the third arch, that is the glossopharyngeal nerve. In addition to this, inferior constrictor muscle also supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve and external laryngeal nerve. Now sensory nerve supply of all the three parts of the pharynx. Nasopharynx is supplied by pharyngeal branch of pterygopalatine ganglion via maxillary nerve. Oropharynx supplied by glossopharyngeal nerve. Laryngopharynx supplied by internal laryngeal nerve. Now what is pharyngeal plexus? It is formed by the pharyngeal branch of vagus nerve, that is motor in function, pharyngeal branch of glossopharyngeal nerve, that is sensory in function, and one branch coming from the superior cervical ganglion of sympathetic trunk, that is vasomotor in function. So this pharyngeal plexus is present on the middle constrictor muscle of pharynx. So this is about the blood supply and nerve supply of the pharynx. Now we discuss the one important connecting channel, connect the lateral wall of the nasopharynx with the anterior wall of the middle ear cavity, that is the pharyngotympanic tube. It is also called as a auditory tube and also called as a Eustachian tube. Now this diagram showing the part of the auditory tube, that is the diagram of the left auditory tube. They are starting from the posterolateral aspect from the middle ear cavity up to it open into the lateral wall of the nasopharynx. Now length of the auditory tube, it is approximately 36 millimeter in length. Out of the 36 millimeter, it is actually divided into two parts, bony part and osseofibrous part. So bony part is orange in color, that's seen in the diagram, and cartilaginous, fibrocartilaginous part can be seen as a bluish part. And connecting between the bony part and cartilaginous part, that is the narrowest part of the auditory tube, that is called as a isthmus. Now it has two ends, anteromedially and posterolaterally, because direction of the auditory tube is directed downward, forward and medially from the middle ear cavity. So from the posterolateral aspect, it opens just above the floor of the middle ear cavity. This one is the middle ear cavity, this one is the tympanic antrum or mastoid antrum. This one is the anterior wall of the middle ear cavity, from where there is a starting of the auditory tube. So that portion is about 12 millimeter out of the 36 millimeter on the medial lateral 1/3 part. So this opening is called as a tympanic end or tympanic orifice. from where the bony portion of the auditory tube is start. So that is about 12 millimeter in length. Then it is directed downward, forward and medially. This portion is the cartilaginous part, and through pharyngeal end or pharyngeal orifice it open into the lateral wall of the nasopharynx, and connecting between the bony part and cartilaginous part, that is somewhat narrowest part, that is called as a isthmus, and widest part of the auditory tube, that is the pharyngeal orifice. Now we discuss the bony part and cartilaginous part in detail. Now bony part, that lies between the squamous part and tympanic part of the temporal bone, and above there is a bony partition is there, through which there is a tensor tympani muscle is passes, and below and medially there is a presence of the carotid canal, through which carotid canal there is an internal carotid artery and plexus around venous and nerve plexus around the internal carotid artery are passes. So that portion is 12 millimeter in length. That start from the just above the floor of the middle ear cavity through the tympanic orifice. Now this bony part is directed downward, forward and slightly medially, and here there is a small opening, that is the narrowest part, that is the jagged margin of the bony wall of the auditory tube. There is a continuation of the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube. Now cartilaginous part of the auditory tube is made up of single piece of the elastic cartilage. Actually this cartilage is triangular in nature. So this triangular in nature, apex is lies posterolaterally at the isthmus, through fibrous tissue it is attached with the bony jagged margin, and anteromedially base that from the pharyngeal orifice, that can be seen in the lateral wall of the nasopharynx. Now cartilaginous part, through its long axis it is divided into two parts, or we can say it has two lamina. So this dark blue color lining, that portion can be seen as a wide or broad medial lamina, and light blue color white portion, that is small lateral lamina. So cartilaginous part in its long axis is divided into two lamina, medial and lateral. Now in the medial broad lamina there are three muscles are attached. That is from above, that is the tensor tympani muscle that passes through its bony canal on the above part of the cartilaginous tube, and second muscle, that is the levator velli palatini, that is attached here at the apex of the petrous temporal bone, and from lower part, that is the salpingopharyngeus muscle. So these three muscles are attached on the broad medial lamina of the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube. Now smaller narrow lateral lamina, here there is attachment of the tensor velli palatini muscle. So tensor velli palatini muscle actively contract and dilate the auditory tube. So that's why it is also called as a dilator tubi muscle. This tensor velli palatini is also called as a dilator velli palatini muscle. Passively it also remain open by the contraction of the levator velli palatini muscle. So this is about the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube.